Yeah. Mr. Patil, can you tell me why was the need felt to start this national stock exchange?
For quite some time, government wanted to reform the capital market and bring them, what we say, online with the international capital markets. So that needed modernization of the stock exchanges. Government was doing it through its own instructions, directives, as also through the Sebi. But it felt that this whole process could be expedited if a new stock exchange is set up, which acts as a role model, brings the best of the technologies, and that way spurs modernization of the exchanges.
So this was set up, national stock. Now, how is this different from the existing stock exchange? Take for instance the Bombay Stock Exchange.
There are a number of major differences here. One is that the word national indicates, now it's not just a decorative term, but it truly reflects that this exchange is going to spread its activities countrywide. The existing stock exchanges are basically city-based exchanges. Their recognition is only for those particular cities for which where they are located. Whereas in our case, our brokers will be spread over the entire length and breadth of the country. So in that sense, we are a different exchange. The second is in the type of instrument that we are going to deal will be a quite different exchange. Other stock exchanges deal basically in equities. They have not bothered to give much importance to trading in debt instruments. So that way we are going to be the first exchange in the country which will have an exclusive debt wing. Let me explain what actually we mean by the debt wing. The first wing of the stock exchange, which has already started, the debt market, what we call, it's a market for trading in government securities, PSU bonds, and the floating yield bonds of the institutions. Later on, we want to extend the range of debt instruments that will be traded on the exchange to say the commercial papers, the certificates of deposits, the securitized debt. So all range of debt instruments which are of interest to the institutions and the major corporate investors, all these will be brought. This is essentially going to be a market in the real sense of the term, a wholesale market. So large investors will deal in debt instruments. We also expect they will also eventually start retailing this debt. In the process of retailing, they may require large stocks to retail the debt, or they acquire, when they make two-way quotations, they may acquire certain debt, surplus of which they may like to dispose of on the wholesale debt market. So we expect the wholesale debt market will provide an umbilical linkage between the retail debt market and the wholesale debt market. This is one major contribution of the stock exchange. The second will be the equity trading. Today, equity trading is on a city-based scale. So it is not, we don't have a real national market in the equities. And it is always said that when markets become bigger, they cover wider area of operations, they are more efficient market, prices are better formed, investors benefit from that. So our equity market will be a nationwide trading market. After some time, we want to start the other wings of this exchange. Abroad, these are quite popularly known instruments, what we call the options and futures. So this will provide for the investors a vehicle for taking risks in future. In a common sense term, you can call it a speculative activity, but it's not necessarily a speculative activity. It is both meant for speculation as also hedging your risks. So we will start the options and futures market. So that way we have many more plans. So that way this will be a unique stock exchange in the world where under its wing the debt market, the equity market, and the options and futures will work.
The options and futures market would be what, an international trading?
No, it's basically say somebody wants to buy equity after some time, but he would like somebody to give him a, say, equity I want to buy in September at a particular price. Somebody should have to give him a quotation and abide by that quotation in September. In terms, these are quite actively traded in Chicago market, for example. Similarly, futures markets, you would like to do a transaction which will be settled, say, after a couple of months. That is called a futures market, where the transaction has to be mandatorily settled. Whereas in the option market, you have an option to buy or not to buy. So these are done both in equities as well as debt instruments. That way they lend to more activity on the spot markets. So that way they are in a way linked.
One of the most radical things about this exchange is that it's taken the market to your office
Yeah.
rather than the office going to the market.
Yeah.
Now you have used a lot of technology in this. I mean, approximately what is the sort of amount you spend on technology, and what is the impact of the technology?
Luckily, in this area, leapfrogging is cheaper. If one accepts the most modern technology is much cheaper than going through an intermediary process. So that is the principle we have adopted. The main idea behind it, that the brokers need not come to the exchange. They sit in their offices wherever they are located, and this is quite relevant for us when we want to go on a national scale. We can't expect the brokers located in other cities to come for trading only to Bombay. So the most convenient way would be that they sit in their own offices. All that is necessary is that we provide a telecom linkage between their trading computers and our mainframe computer. So orders flow from all over the country, and the response time is very small in the type of technology we have chosen. Even when, for example, an order flows from Delhi, Chandigarh, it will reach our computer in just about 1.5 seconds or so. When the trade is matched, it will be communicated with the same speed. So for that purpose, we are going to have a satellite communication technology which will be NSE's own system. We'll set up our own hub, and we'll set up our own VSAT network which will be used by the brokers. So that way we will bring the market to Bombay via the telecom connections.
When do you think would this happen?
The first phase of it will be completed by December this year, where by Bombay and nearby cities will link through satellite communication to our system. And especially when we want to link large number of people, it is not possible to do it entirely through telephone, because telephone systems will not be able to provide the high speed links that we expect at all places. The second phase of going national will have to be done in a phased way, but I think my own feeling is that in the next 3 to 4 years we should be able to cover most of the important cities in our network.
Okay, if you were to look at the most glaring significance of the National Stock Exchange, what is it? Is it operating from your home, or is it transparency in the system, or is it getting into the debt market? What is it?
I would say all the three. Debt is the major contribution that we are making, and especially this has become very relevant after we had the major scam. And this system will totally avoid such a scam taking place, because it's a totally monitorable system. All transactions will be recorded, and we will ensure mandatorily that they are settled in the given time frame. Then coming to national, this is the first time an attempt will be made to bring investors all over the country into one trading system. The third will be that when brokers sit in their own offices, they have much better back office support. Then they will be able to service the investors better because they are closer to the investors. So from all those angles, I think this is a totally investor friendly system.
What about the transactions that have been done? How much has in sales been done and transactions, like total value?
We began our activities only last Thursday, so not just a week has passed. On the first day, the total orders that flowed into the system were about 102 crores, but actual transactions done were just 2.4 crores. Today, I think the order flow has been exceeding 400 crores, and the orders concluded are rupees 60 crores. I think in less than a week's time, I think the market has taken a big bounce.
What has been the response from the market, from institutional bankers, from brokers?
Response has been very good, but I think the response will increase tremendously after each of the bank is connected to our system, because what we are going to do is, though they are not members of the stock exchange, but they are the major players. So we will provide a screen to in all their offices, so they will be able to watch the market and take appropriate investment decisions. As of today, only about 11 or 12 banks are linked to our exchange. So the major banks are yet to join the system, like State Bank of India, the Central Bank, all these banks. Once they join the system, I am sure the volumes are going to spurt.
Looking at it, when do you get into the equity market? When do you think would you get into the equity market?
Equity market, we are planning to start sometime end September or so, because for equity market the settlement will have to be done with physical instruments. So we need a large space. We are already on the lookout for proper premises. We have identified one or two, but by the time I think we are able to have the necessary infrastructure for settlement at that place, it should be in September or so.
There is this apprehension especially among the BSc members, that you're going to usurp its importance.
It is bound to happen because I think we are shifting to a new system where competition is the core of new philosophy. I think we are going to compete with every one of the stock exchanges in the country, and we feel that we will score over them because we have the better technology. Our technology is totally transparent. All the transactions will be recorded. Investors will have full protection in regard to the prices at which the brokers will be giving them the service. So from that point of view, we feel the well-informed investors, the institutions, the foreign investment institutions who want a transparent system, and eventually as and when foreign brokers are permitted into India, they will all prefer our system to the existing outmoded outcry system.
Okay. Is this shape of things to come? You had the city exchanges, now you have a national exchange. Is this a procedure on our way to become an international exchange also, you think?
Actually, there is everything in our technology which will enable us to go international even in the next 6 months. Only thing is that this is not possible because government has not made up its mind about full convertibility. But suppose we have the same full convertibility on the foreign exchange like countries like UK and USA have, we can go international in next 6 months. There is no problem at all. So we are attuned to a new trading system which is global friendly, I would say.
All right. By the year end, how much transaction do you hope to achieve?
If the debt market picks up well, my own hope is that by end of the current calendar year, our debt transactions themselves should go to a couple of 100 crores every day. It may even be bigger than, but I don't want to give a figure and Of course, I would be pleasantly happy to be proved wrong. It could even be more than a couple of 100 crores.
There's this talk that this market would be something quite similar to NASDAQ in America. Would it become into an entity of its own like that?
In a way it is similar, but in a way it is not similar, in the sense, in the NASDAQ system, basically the screen provides the quotations. Only part of the transactions are done actually through the matching. Whereas in our case, the screen provides the information, but none of the market participants are obliged to make two-way quotes. They are not necessarily market makers. If they want to be market makers, they have the freedom, but they have to basically accept the order driven system. That is what we call. The other comparison similar to NASDAQ is NASDAQ also is spread across the country. We are also similarly spreading across the country, but NASDAQ is basically an equity market. We are going to have the equity, the wholesale debt market, and the options and futures.
Right. Thank you.